as
Ooh.
Sheila gets that first goal to his name.
Very, very interesting play from the Rumble Bumblers right off the back wall from Vensi, and Shala will bury it deep into the Vitality net. And I said this to you, Spooks, that Rumble Bumblers could come out firing on all cylinders and maybe surprise Vitality as they try and find their feet here in the first game of the day.
Well, what I was gonna say is that we talked in the green room, and I said before, these are three players that love their bumps and demos. They love to go for them! And this is research! I mean, there's no way you don't get hyped when you see things like this.
Alpha with the hesitation in net, and he just goes kaboom right in front of the net. Rezzers will be the one to assist Shala for his second goal in about 10 seconds of gameplay. Oh my, Vitality stunned here at the start of regulation, at the start of their run here in the Dacia Spring Electric Tournament here on the Rocket RB. My oh my, Rumble Bumblers having gone through the qualifiers, having to play drop shot and Rumble and Snow Day and all these extra modes, now get to show what they are capable of on a normal 3v3 field. But here's Radosa, the new signing for Vitality, showing what his signing capability is worth.
This should be a goal any day of the week, and Radosin showing it off right away in those 1v1 skills. Not much you can do if you are fancy there in the defensive end. But this is a bit of what I expected personally. I think you probably did as well. That game one was the one we spoke about. That should be the one that could go to Rumble Bumblers if they open up correctly. And so far they've looked quite lethal, but need to be careful as Kate up. Trying to progress this ball forwards. Gets it into the corner, but Fancy gets it away. Radosi blocking it off, but not a shot on target.
Yeah, shooting accuracy for Vitality has been an issue for them throughout this season of RLCS. Starting to plague them a little bit now as well. Rumble Bumblers want to just slow things down a bit, or rather Vitality do. Nice bump onto the keeper from Vitality will not lead to a goal straight away. See the tactics for Vitality, slow things down. Alpha no boost going up to the backboard. Rumble Bumblers don't know that. Now K-Dub comes in, and he's just giving it straight up to Vensi. No one in the net, and Rumble Bumblers back up by 2.
They are never going to miss these types of shots. You can't get that comfortable. And what I'm looking for Rumble Bumblers are those types of things. Get a bump in, get a demo in, and you see how open the space is. This is due to how Vitality wants to slow things down, which you've noted already. They really want to slow things down, get things under control with themselves. But that doesn't work if you get non-stop bumped and demoed away. As Radosin once again trying to progress that ball forward so far. Reserves is up early, misses the ball, fakes out the defender as well. But Alpha has the control, just no shot to be found.
And again, Vitality struggling on offense. Trying to find a gap through this Bumblers side of the field. Alpha very dangerously across the face of the net and into the now safely into the corner. Now out to Vensi. He takes a pot shot off the crossbar. But again, pressure exerted by the Bumblers. Not giving Vitality too much chance down in their own side of the field. But every time they have given up possession to Vitality, Spooks, they've been able to find a way to get it back without any threat of a shot.
It really seems to be, so far, Rumble Bumblers' way they want to play is just really countering whatever Vitality wants to do. Research! I know this is their fourth and it's 4-1. He does not care. These goals are a piece of art.
Oh, hang that one in the Louvre, because that one is a picture. And Radisson wants to be tip-exed out of that shot as he fumbles on his own back line. And now the Bumblers just having a little bit of fun here. Rezzers to maybe grab a fifth. But again, Vitality, you just think the names that have came through and the history that Vitality have as an organization in Rocket League, they're being beaten by a team right now. I know it's only game number 1, but they're being beaten quite decisively here in game number 1 by a team called Rumble Bumblers.
I think the worst part right now is just that, to me, the only one who looks a bit lethal on Vitality is Radosin. He's the only one really bringing a type of offense for this team, progressing the ball. Right now, Alpha has a chance, has the control. Can he get it further? No, he can't. Blocked off right away by Sheila once again. And you see, no one is challenging it. They're just giving so much freedom to Rumble Bumblers.
Yeah, it's very, very passive. That's not really something we've said about Vitality in the past. Watching K-Dop as well, he just seems so apprehensive to come forward. He's letting the young guns in Alpha and Radosin just do all the work. He's sitting back and like waiting for his moment to strike, but it's just not coming because Alpha and Radisson are just giving up the ball so easily. Back into the middle goes Vency. Rezzers with a brilliant shot, but straight into the path of Radosin. 50 seconds left. Even if a goal comes in here from Vitality, it might not be enough here in game one. As Rumble Bumblers, I think they've done enough here, Spooks.
And this, maybe even the 5th, that's a good passing play though, and that's scary in my eyes. If that team, just a pickup team that doesn't really play tournaments together or anything, starts passing around like that, that's the moment where you maybe have to think to yourself, okay, that's scary. That's not what you want to see. As Vitality, 20 seconds left, still trying to get one going. K-Dop just a bit too high, and that's where you can see that this is still a pickup team. 3 people going for the same ball on defense.
Yeah, there are whiffs and misses from the Bumblers. A shot by Alpha, it doesn't drop. Oh, K-Dop does follow it up. A compensation goal at the end of regulation of game number 1, but it won't be enough here. Rumble Bumblers in complete control throughout game number 1 here, Spooks. And Vitality just look like a little bit shocked, in my opinion.
But, Crafters, does this mean that we are just a million IQ? We are just that smart that we predicted this exactly how it was going to happen? Are we just that smart, or is this just Vitality struggling against the Rumble Bumblers that's just looking that good?
I mean, if I had an ego, which I do, so I will say it, I would say, yes, I am the smartest man in the world and knew exactly that this would happen. I didn't expect it to be 4-2, though. I did not expect, well, it was essentially call it 4-1. The last goal was within the last 10 seconds or so. So 4-1 throughout for Rumble Bumblers to come out and just dominate against Vitality is one hell of a statement to be making. Like I said, I kind of expected this first game to go the way of the Bumblers, but I didn't expect it for them to do it so decisively. I mean, you look at that replay, Rezzers with a brilliant flip reset. Vitality just couldn't defend it at all.
And what I'm mostly looking at is that the demo amount is even all across. Just the big difference is that 2 demos led to 2 goals for Rumble Bumblers, and I don't believe a single demo led to a goal for Vitality. That is the difference in my eyes. That Rumble Bumblers, when they get those demos, when they get those bumps, and they get those goals as well to boot with them. On the other end, Vitality still looking a bit lost, but we predicted that would be the case going into game 1. Game 2, though, you've seen how this entire team plays now. You know what to change. You know how to adapt to this. Now it's time to show us why you are an RLCS team and why these guys aren't.
I said to you before we came on air as well, like, with Radisson coming in, Radisson, however you want to say his name, I'm going to swap it up because I could never decide how to say his name properly. The thing for me for Radisson when he was on Williams Resolve, and I suppose Williams Resolve as a whole, was just their consistency. They couldn't get a consistent run together. Yes, they had a brilliant run in the Winter Regionals 1 and 3, but they just died a death in Regional 2, and it was all down to the inconsistencies of that roster, and you've got to include Radisson when you talk about that. But it's a question for me whether he's going to become more consistent within Vitality, or if he's just going to not perform at the high level that we know he can on a more visible stage. With all credit to Williams Resolve, Vitality, an amazing roster, an amazing organization in their own right. So a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the young Frenchman.
Really a lot, and it will take some time. Maybe we see a couple small type of playstyle difference coming in for Vitality, but that is going to take some time to get going. So far, first minute been quite equal. Both teams have had some chances, just nothing too dangerous just yet. Sheila right there with the control, but getting blocked right away by Alpha, and K-Dop and Reserves both going up quite quickly. You see that both these teams, the speed is slowly starting to match one another. This is a good opening though for Rumble Bumblers if they have the control. Fancy doesn't have the boost though.
And Radisson currently doesn't have a car on the field. Oh, that one was dangerous as K-Dop tries to back pass it, but handled by Vitality's defense well enough. Benzi now slowing things down. No boost as he goes in for the challenge on Alpha. Radisson with the clear, but it's not to anyone in particular. Now Alpha comes in to send it skyward towards the backboard of Rumble Bumblers. And a little bit of a more pensive start from both these teams. And now Alpha maybe gearing up for an assault here. Off the backboard, drops it down. K-Dop's there with a touch. And nothing too threatening from Vitality once again.
And that is the problem. I'm lacking some passing plays from Vitality. It feels very individual based. There's no one really looking for a pass or to get it to one another. It's just all, okay, you go for a solo play now. You go for a solo play now. Now it's Fancy's turn. Does get it into the middle. Maybe with a bit of help as the double demo comes out. And the goal is wide on open. But Sheila wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think Crafters was expecting that.
No, I don't think anyone was expecting that, especially Sheila, as he's just waiting in the middle of the field. It's like, oh, wait, the goal's open? All right, I better turn around. Oh, okay, Alpha's there already. But yeah, it's just again, some little inconsistencies here and there from Vitality as a team. Radisson, he actually needed a touch on that. It was actually K-Dop credited with the shot. I think if Radisson maybe was able to pull off some kind of musty flick in the air like that, would have been straight onto net and we would sit here at 1-0 Vitality. But again, just nothing really inspiring, really from either side, you got to say. And I suppose it's more shocking on the side of Vitality. They're not able to string anything together, and I fully agree with you, Spooks, that it does seem like 3 solo players for Vitality right now. I suppose in the same way that Rumble Bumblers are all 3 playing solo standard right now. With a minute and a half left, no team with the upper hand in terms of goals, and I would say no team with the upper hands in terms of momentum right now either.
This may be the opportunity they're looking for. Vitality once again. K-Dop taking it slow back into the middle, and the own goal sadly enough goes in. But if Reserves wasn't hitting it, Alpha for sure would have had it.
Yeah, that was a goal either way, but it's just so upsetting for Rezzers that he's the one who sticks it in the back of his own net. Few goals for himself in the last game. It's a goal now, but it's in the wrong net, pal. You got a 1-0 deficit, all of your own doing. But yeah, you would think Alpha would have been the one to stick it in anyway if Rezzers didn't do it for him. But again, Rumble Bumblers, their defense has been really good up until this point. At least better than Vitality, because I've seen barely any open nets for them. As, Alpha tries to paint the top corner there, tries to push it to a 2-goal lead. But as we tick inside 45 seconds, Bumblers with a lot of work to do.
I was going to give them credit, but that's a free goal. Just a walk on in for K-Dop. And eventually the cracks start to appear for Rumble Bumblers when they are making a couple of mistakes that they aren't expecting. You can see goals like that go in, and it was just as I was gonna credit them for playing really well against the Vitality team that was non-stop going to be knocking on your door. Well, 2 knocks have so far led to a goal.
Can the Bumblers turn it around and knock on Vitality's door? Because I've not seen any real chances for them here. Vitality starting to lock down things in the middle of the field properly with better follow-up chances from them. They're hard for Rumble Bumblers to get a foothold in this game number 2. As the final 10 seconds ticks down, maybe final chance here for Venci. He does pop it back towards the middle of the field, and K-Dop will be the one to corral it in the corner. Maybe a third, it will be a third. Alpha gets on the board, and that's a second game for Vitality.
That must be a nice way for Vitality to get that third goal. K-Dop leaves it alone. Probably got called out by Alpha for, yeah, I got that, buddy. Don't worry about it. And then an easy shot on target. This is the way for Vitality to bounce back, though. They weren't looking all too comfortable just yet. The scoreline doesn't reflect how this match went, but you won. That's the important part. You instantaneously shut down an awkward team like Rumble Bumblers and got yourself that victory.
Do you think the own goal from Rezzers got in the heads of Rumble Bumblers a little bit? Because that was the first goal for Vitality in this second game. Do you think that really played a factor? Because from there, it just seemed like they didn't have their heads in the right place.
I think it was more of a factor for Vitality than for Rumble Bumblers. I think it was in the VC for Rumble Bumblers like, that's not what we would like to see, but it wasn't that much of an effect to me. It was more that Vitality finally was like, oh, we can score and we can take that lead. Let's do it more often now. and then start to really amp up a couple of these goals. You see a bit of the pressure getting to Rumble Bumblers, and that's where you lose. But now it's important for Rumble Bumblers. You go into match 3, it's tied up 1-1 in the series. It can go any way, but now you just need to show off why you took game 1 and get more demos in my eyes. You need to be bumping, getting Team Vitality out of existence to really get easily past them.
I think one thing you saw there as well in the stat sheet was 0 shots. And I mean 0 shots from the side of Rumble Bumblers. It just shows that how Vitality were, like I said, able to lock down the middle of the field a lot more. They were playing a lot more aggressive positioning and going for 50s a lot more often. Here Rezzers wins that ball, but straight into Alpha. Maybe a bump on the goal line will deter Alpha going outwards. But he loses that one. Now Rezzer's back in possession of this. He's got plenty of boost, needs to beat Kate up in the air. Not easy to do. And he will lose out that challenge, and Vitality back with possession. Actually, they'll give it up to Schiller. Goes top corner. Nice save by Radisson.
And so far, good offensive pressure coming out from Rumble Bumblers. They just need one final push, and that may be it. But Alpha isn't an easy person to get past, as I believe that was Research who is trying to dribble Radosin.
This is better defense from Vitality as well. We saw in game number 1 that they left their net empty a lot of the time. Now they stick to their rotations. They stick to their fundamental Rocket League, which is served them well in the past, serving them well here as well. Here comes Rezer for another attack on net. Got the flip reset, but won't be able to get the all-important goal. Still no goals for the side of Rumble Bumblers since the end of game number 1. Maybe one coming here as it goes back in field, but Radisson able to punt it down and make Rumble Bumblers start all over again.
They have to start all over again. I would like to see a couple more demos coming out from Rumble Bumblers once again. You saw that the defense from Vitality looking quite solidified, and if you can't get past a team, you just have to either go around it, I don't see that happening, or get through it with a demo, but this is a good opportunity, and the second one getting saved as well. K-Dub not allowing a goal.
Oh, K-Dub just spawns out of nowhere. He had the invisibility cape from Harry Potter on, this camera swings round. Oh, K-Dub's there. Okay, he takes off the veil and is able to get the save. But better attacking plays from Rumble Bumblers. They just seemed a little lost in game number 2. Now they've started to find their feet here in game number 3, but K-Dub is not going to make this one easy for them. Outward it goes from Rezzers into the hands of Alpha 54. And Venci, loses that challenge to Kate up in the air. It's on target, but Rezzer's able to make the save.
Radosin bringing that ball into the middle, has the patience, has the pass to Alpha. But sadly enough, it was just a tiny bit too strong. That was due to the challenge that did come out from Rumble Bumblers, but it's once again Radosin, and the pressure keeps on going. He doesn't have a lot of boost, but he does have the 50, and the ball going in from Alpha. This is what you like to see coming out from Radosin.
Yeah, lovely carry. Pass 1, pass 2. Beats out Venci, and Schiller has no clue where to position his car on that one. Lovely follow-up by Alpha 54. And that is the teamwork that we like to see from Vitality as well, knowing exactly what another one is going to do. And obviously the honeymoon period starting to set in a little bit for Vitality. They seemed completely lost in game 1. But now they have found each other in the airport. And they're going through security together, waiting in that departure lounge. I don't know where this analogy is coming from, but at least they're all together.
They're all together, they're all smiling, but for how long can you keep on smiling? Rumble Bumblers wants to go onto the offense once again. Fancy getting a 50 right there, Resource. The man with control, the man with patience. He has been so lethal for Rumble Bumblers so far. As this ball goes back into the middle, can Fancy be quick enough? No, gets outbeaten by K-Dub. Radosin once again, the patience. Yes, he didn't hit the ball, but just because he backed off, it just ruins the entire defense. It almost gets another goal.
Yeah, it was awkward for the defense of Rumble Bumblers, but a nice clear away, and Radisson has to do a lot of work off of his own rear wall to be able to send that one out of the danger zone for Vitality. Now Rumble Bumblers, here comes Rezzers. He's been great in the air so far, gets it past Alpha, but cannot find that third touch to get it to his teammate. They just cannot seem to finish here, Spooks. Rezzer's doing a lot of work, and again, on to target, but Radisson is just having himself a day.
A lot of lifting coming out from reserves, but it isn't easy. Vitality has such a strong defense coming out. Radosin with a bit of help from Alpha. I would like to see some more controls right now from Rumble Bumblers, but this is a good way to get it go.
Oh,
No! Reserves with the pass.
Oh, you missed it!
Gila can't get it on target. That was your opportunity. Now reserves once again bringing it into the middle. Communication wasn't there. The shot that should have been in, and it goes all the way to the other end.
Oh, that is a feels bad for Rumble Bumblers, and especially for Rezzers as well. He had the perfect play to set up his team, but he was just floating in it mid-air. Ends up Odin saving it, and Vitality just clear it downfield. A little bit of desperation for the Rumble Bumblers with 29 seconds left, and they've got to go full out attack if they don't want to go down to the match point.
And you asked before if I thought the own goal that we saw in Game 2 was what's gonna affect the mentality on Rumble Bumblers. I think that goal that they didn't get, I think that's gonna be quite a tough one to have, because that is the difference between tied up in this game and losing 2-0. As you see right now, the ball slowly dropping down as are the seconds. We get another one. It doesn't matter. 3-0 on the scoreboard. Vitality blocking off Rumble Bumblers, but Rumble Bumblers blocking off themselves also.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a couple of mistakes there from in game number 2, obviously from Rezzers, and a mistake there. I'm not sure that there's much more he could have done about it. He was kind of stalled in mid-air, no boost in the tank, and just kind of falling in space for Rezzers. It's you've just got to have a short memory when you play this game, and it's it's heartbreaking for Rezzers. I mean, you see there 7 shots from him as well. He was firing on all cylinders, flip reset here, flip reset there, and Vitality just had an answer for it every single step of the way. And I mean, you look at the replay there, Vitality working great as a team, Radisson fitting well into this Vitality rotation.
I think what's probably most notable about Radosin is how much he transitions the ball from defense onto offense. Every time I see him looking for control, looking to get the ball into a good position so his teammates can take over. He's always doing something useful, and that is taking me by surprise.
Exactly, yeah, it is surprising. But obviously with the coaching that he would be receiving now, trying to find the Vitality way. As we have a look at Vency and what is that? Is that the Proteus?
Yeah, Proteus. That is.
Oh, big car change from the big man. Let's see if he can, if he's going to sink or swim in this 4th and potentially final game of this opening match of the Dacia Spring Electric Tournament. Rumble Bumblers need to get this one together, otherwise they'll be into the lower bracket with 1 life remaining. They'll take on or whoever wins from here will take on the winner of our second game of the day. That's Singularity versus Su. Once the loser will face the loser of that one, and that's not what Rumble Bumblers want to be, as Rezzers dunks it down again. He can just not catch a break right now, Spooks.
He's doing so well on the offensive end, but it just can't get past. This is a good pass by Fancy. Maybe get a demo or two, be annoying towards the defenders who are trying to break out. Reserves once again, ball into the middle. Good position there for Sheila, and good control as well. Patience, looking for a bump, but Radosin saw it coming. Has learned from game 1. I was like, no, I won't allow you to get another bump in. I am going over you.
You can't go through them, you can't go around them, you gotta go over them. That's what Rumble Bumblers are trying to do as well. Again, it's just a lot of infield passes, and they seem quite predictable now, Spooks, because that has been their game plan from game number 1. Just get the ball into a good position, then infield it. And Vitality are starting to read that and starting to cut it out early, but a pass in the midfield will set up the shot from midfield. Nothing really all too threatening that time around. Vitality transition downfield, very well done as well. Radisson with the block there. Now Vency will be allowed to just go for this himself. 25 boost in the tank, and he'll just let that one go as it's a little bit too wrong for the boot of Rezzers.
I'm just confused that Vitality left that alone for so long, but it's working out for them. They're getting that transition going almost, but Reserves, good pass into the middle. That's Fancy right there. Radosin saw it coming, maybe a bit too predictable, but it was the right opportunity as Reserves bring that ball back forth once again. Almost Alpha with a dangerous touch right there. Demo 1 coming out. Maybe another one. There is the
Oh.
second one. Fancy now has the opportunity to bring it back into the middle. But Radosin positioning himself in such an annoying way that he knew the pass was coming and wasn't allowing it.
Yeah, I mean, those demos can be really devastating to a team's rotation, but if you've not got the ball in a good position to infield it, then you're just going to be demoing people for fun, and it's not really going to make all that much of a difference. Exactly what Rumble Bumblers had there. They obviously want to take out as many guys from Vitality as they possibly can. If you're not in a good position to infield pass it or even take a shot on net, then there's really not all that much point in going for it, especially when you give up possession as easily as you have done.
Indeed, but now defensive end is a good pass onto Kada. Beautiful touch there from Alpha. Just baiting out the entire defense right there. Look at that.
I mean, when you see Alpha coming in like that, you imagine he's just going to shoot on net. And I mean, Shilla and the other person in defense, I didn't quite catch who it was. I believe it was Vency, just were in a difficult position either way. Whether Alpha was going to shoot that or pass it, as he ended up doing. But yeah, again, just weak positioning from Rumble Bumblers lets Alpha and the rest of Vitality take advantage of that. And more to what you were saying, it just seems like solo standard, but Alpha 34, he has ascended to the standard way of playing. This is the man we all know and love, and he's pulling out shots that we all know he can pull off. Lovely stuff.
That is just mental. The last time I was getting so hyped for a redirect from the back wall like that was back when a lot still was playing at the pro level for complexity. That was such a nice redirect, so clean and simple as well, especially with the pass. But now it's such a hard task for Rumble Bumblers to get back into this. And I have a feeling, Crafters, Stonebear, that we may be very, very big brain.
Yeah, we have big brained this, haven't we? We saw the future. It's a shame that Rumble Bumblers didn't see the future either. Look, you see a Vency. Oh, he does get one on the board. That is Rumble Bumblers' first goal since game number 1, where they won it 4-2. My, oh my, they have been in one hell of a drought. And Vency, in his Proteus, able to pull it back within one. So maybe, just maybe, there's another twist to this tale, Spooks.
I would not be surprised if I completely jinxed it before it's the end as research.
You might have.
Opportunity
Imagine, he's done it.
Itself. But he wasn't expecting the miss, I believe.
I don't think any of us were. That is a chance gone and missed. Maybe K-Up can punish it. If that one was to go in, you would imagine it was a game, set, and match for Team Vitality. Now Vency trying to apply pressure to the Vitality side of the field, and Vitality just wants to drain this clock dry and hold on to possession as they have done so well throughout this entire series against Rumble Bumblers. 5 seconds left and it's deep in green territory. Need to make a move upfield. Nice infield passing between Shilla and Rezzers, but it's caught in the corner. Now Vency has to come in. Oh, he takes a shot, but it's just into the corner. 20 seconds left. Rezzers has to salvage this.
But Kato, zero boost, grabs the 100 right there. It's Fancy now all the way in his own half. Has to get it all the way across the field in less than 10 seconds. Shilla. The ball under control, leaving it alone for Reserves, who is going up, but there's Alpha as well. Can't get it himself. Ball back into the middle. Shilla hits it up once again, but the ball gets dropped down. Team Vitality takes the win 3-1. And I will say, quite confident the way that Team Vitality is looking so far.
Yeah, it did seem shaky in game number 1, but of course we said finding their feet, finding their rhythm, and finding what works against Rumble Bumblers, which was just mainly just sit back, wait for the infield pass, then go for the interception and try and hold on to midfield. Exactly what Vitality were able to do. I mean, you look at I'm looking at the field domination stat as well. 64% in favor of Rumble Bumblers, meaning that the ball was in the Vitality half 64% of the time, which is insane. They were able to pull off 5, 6, 7, 8 shots compared to the Vitality 3. 3 shots only from Vitality in that game, and they scored 2 goals. Rumble Bumblers couldn't even get a second on the boards, but man alive. I mean, good effort from Rumble Bumblers. I commend them for a brilliant series that they've just played against a top-level team in Vitality. But man, Radisson looking like a really good pickup so far from Vitality. We'll see how he gets on later in the day as well. Spooks, I want to get your thoughts on just how Vitality were able to craft that win and obviously just, I suppose, bounce back from the thrashing that they had in game 1.
I think the problem was game one is just the simple thing that what we talked about before. You come in, you have to play a team you normally never scrim, never see, you don't know how those players are. And then the way that Rumble Bumblers just came out aggressively, bumps, demos, annoying plays, simple goals after that. That is the way to come out into a game one. But after that, Vitality started to learn, started to get a bit warm, figured out how to play together a bit more. And you saw it as the games progressed. We saw more and more of Vitality using one another, playing together more and more. And then you just know as Rumble Bumblers, yeah, this one is probably not going into our favor.
I would say the only question I still have for Vitality, I know he got MVP in this final game here. The only question for me is K-Dop right now, because you've got Alpha and Radisson up at the front doing a lot of the heavy lifting. What is K-Dop doing? He's holding back a fair bit, in my opinion. I'd like to see him get more involved, but I mean, if it works, it works, and it worked here against the Rumble Bumblers. As you can see, they have moved on to our upper final that we'll see a little bit later on today. Who will join them, Spooks? It's Singularity versus Sue after this short break with Jam and Relic.
Folks, welcome back to Dacia Spring Electric Tournament. Jam here with Relic. Don't shake your head, man. Don't shake your head.
I'm very much... Listen, we love our sponsors. Big up. It's a lovely pre-split tournament. So shout out to our sponsors at Dacia for providing us with wonderful action, Jam. Wonderful action, which, of course, we've just seen in the form of new look Vitality, getting to grips with themselves. I think very unconvincing, but then again, it is early days, and we were literally just talking in the green room. We had similar thoughts about Endpoint when they picked up Seikoo before the 21-22 RLCS season. Look how that's turned out. Look where Seikoo is now. But coming up, we have ourselves one roster which is sticking together most likely for the next split. We've got one roster that may very well leave each other after this week. And oddly enough, the one that's leaving each other after this week is the one with the orc behind it. It's very strange.
Yeah, so Team Singularity and Sa composed of Mike Botho and Oli, a full Dutch squad versus a full British squad, Chippy, Bluey, and Billy on the side of Team Singularity. And knowing that nothing has been officially announced for Team Singularity, and knowing that I think at this point, Singularity is Polar, and then everyone else is sort of sitting on the bench. That's the official lay of the land for Team Singularity. Everyone else is up in the air. And knowing that the roster window for RLCS has just closed in, all the transfer windows, I'm not exactly sure what Team Singularity is going to be putting in. Although I'm assuming that when you are not bound by actual transfers, you can create anything. So today, Chippy, Blue, and Billy are Team Singularity, and nobody can say otherwise.
Little did we know that Godsmiller was just the beginning. This is all part of the Singularity master plan. And it really has come out of nowhere. And it's why we're a little bit like, is this really going to last that long? Because the last competitive match that Singularity as an organization has been was actually back in February 20th. And so we're talking about 2 months of inactivity of just Polar as part of the roster, not finding themselves into any sort of spring contention, and then or winter contention, I should say, and then out of nowhere, these three turn up on the roster. I have a lot more hope. I don't know whether they're called the new Flying Dutchman or something, but I've got a lot more hope for Sa, because their roster just in general looks great. You know, it looks like a really nice leftover style of roster where all three of these players have got RLCS top tier experience. All three of these players are on the same wavelength. All three of these players all speak, you know, their home language, their first language, and so communication shouldn't necessarily be an issue either. So I've got hope for these guys. Of course, we are rather sad not to see the return of Pashi 90 into competitive action. It would have been awesome to see if he went up against his old squad, of course, in Team Vitality. That was years ago, by the way. That was scary. But in any case, I think actually and this might hurt some people, I think we've got the better roster coming into this tournament in the form of Sa. I think that this is a great pre-split warm-up for them, and against a squad which kind of just is there and we're not sure why, a really nice starter game here to kick off Group A for them.
Well, Sa and Team Singularity are definitely also, I think, a well-paired match. I'm going to be really curious who's going to get out of this particular stage of the tournament. Again, we're playing a group stage, but at the same time, it is just a double elimination with 4 teams, and then whoever finishes top 3, sorta, gets on to the next stage. So, Team Singularity and Sa, I would say, just if you just put them on a paper, and if you assume that they have played together for a long time, again, Team Singularity, this roster, I wouldn't be surprised if they play on a regular basis, just never as a proper, announced team, rather, I should say. And Mike Botho and Oli has just been trying to pull together, trying to see what happens. Relic, I do have one ask of you. Could you please say the name of the Mike Botho and Oli's team one more time, and please do the face?
So...
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I would love to see, no hard feelings, Team Singularity. I would love to see Sa to take this, if only for us to see another rematch between Team Vitality and Sa, because previously, just last weekend, they have played in another big tournament, another big French tournament, and Sa have defeated Team Singularity, actually put them to 3rd spot. And so a little bit of rematch. I wonder how this week has actually gone for both of these teams. And the winner of that tournament was Zen, Sizen, and Exotic. They beat everyone, including Sa, including Team Vitality. Carmine Corp were also in this tournament, and we're going to be seeing them as well as more of the teams. That is Semper, Mustafluck, and FC Multiculti. Tomorrow there's going to be Group B. Today we're solely focusing on Group A. all of the happenings, and we're going to be finding out 3 of the 4 teams that we're going to be seeing today who are going to be moving to the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's just a really exciting time for Europe. I think that the recent Winter World Championship kind of showed a lot of the, I guess, regression that we've seen from the region in comparison to what NA and the rest of the world are starting to pull up. I know that we saw Team Queso get to the grand finals of that particular situation, but you don't really want a team getting to their first grand finals as your last hope for the region. You would have expected one of the more experienced rosters to get there. It's why we've seen Team BDS make a very bold, but I think an excellent change, echoes of the ClayX extra replacement that we saw when they first came into RLCS. No surprise to see Vitality change things up. Now, I'm not entirely sure that they got their first pick in Radosin, but at the same time, kind of got to change something after you go 0-3 in 2 of your regional groups. That's not good for ex-champions. Here, I don't think we're not necessarily talking about the next champions necessarily, but we are talking about 6 players, all with great RLCS experience. And like I say, I think this all-Dutch roster is definitely looking to me like the better hope to at least try and get top 16. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but you never know until you see how things develop in preseason. But then again, Jam is just preseason. Again, I take us back to Endpoint at the beginning of the 21-22 season when everyone thought that Seikoo was one of the worst transfers ever, and then they come in and they blow everyone's expectations out of the water. In any case, I agree with you. I think Sus should be definitely looking for a win from this. I think the org name doesn't really add much to the roster necessarily. I think this roster is... It's got vibes of just a lazy Sunday afternoon, let's play some Rocket League. And a reminder of the prize, by the way, 15,000 euros. It's not exactly a small prize, is it? However, there is no prize for second place. There is no prize for third place. There's only a prize for first place. So it's very much go big or go home. How are things going to transpire here? Well, we've got another best of 5 on the board for you as our second match in Group A gets underway. I'd be very... Yes, okay, Team Singularity is in the green. At least we do have some semblance of community and order and prosperity to look forward to. We know that there is certainly problems if you're looking at the green of the floor and then the green of the Singularity, so we apologize for that, folks. It is a tough day to be colorblind, but then again, who really cares when you got great action? Is that a Mustang? Oh, I love a Mustang! Though, stealing my heart away early doors.
Yeah, we already have seen a couple of unconventional car picks, shall I say, in the series between the Rumble Bumblers and Team Vitality, and more of them are coming in on through. And how about a goal as well, Mike Boy, to open up the scoring for Sa? Just a plain old boring Octane, but a goal is a goal, and Sa are up 1-1.
Just another lovely pass down into the middle where someone's ready to poach in the box. We've seen it many times in the past. We've already seen it today, and it's lovely to see Sug getting onto the board within the first 40 seconds. Now, what can Team Singularity do to respond? If anything, though, completely just demolishing any hope of a counterattack early on with the demo, and Mike Boy not able to go much further here. Here's Billy to Bluey, of course. It's hard to remember the days when he was the MVP of Europe, but he still has something about him, doesn't it? A very quick equalizer.
Real, we have been talking about history, we have been talking about old names, and we would love to see Pashi. That is such a blast from the past, and it's such unfortunate due to circumstances beyond his and his team's control. They had to pull out, but Bluey is really the player from the same era, I would even say. Got big, and unfortunately the time caught up with him, I suppose. So any old veteran of the scene over here is welcome, in my opinion. And him getting the goal gives him even more confidence as a result.
I think we do definitely remember his halcyon days at what was Paris Saint-Germain, of course. He then went on to Savage, which became Barcelona, but it was really after the Barcelona pickup that things started to go downhill, and he's never quite recovered since. Maybe we were expecting something of a bit of a scrub killer renaissance, as we've seen with him moving to Dignitas in recent months, but nothing as of yet. Is this roster the one which he starts to recapture some of his old form with? We have lion's share of 3 minutes and 30 left here as Mike Boy is going to bring us into the green half once again. No boost, little that he can do with this, really. And Bluey wins a easy challenge over Oli, but here's Though to step in. Backboard. Up goes Mike Boy. That's on target, but has so little power that even without someone in net, he probably would have saved it anyway.
They try for a couple of attempts, a couple of approaches, but Team Singularity's defense just does not let through easy shots. And right here, it's open. It's wide open. Billy just sends it down the net. And my God, that goal explosion. I want one. I want one right now.
Tho was turning around. And Mike Boy was just steam training towards him. Massive miscommunication here, really. As the demo complicates matters, and Team Singularity, perhaps against the run of play, you could say, is into the lead. And, well, it's not so much about whether they fashioned it themselves, but look, when you are offered open door opportunities like that, you got to take them. And fair play to Billy. Gets it on target, gets the goal, gets the reward. And as we head to half-time, Suh still with work to do. Oli picking up possession. Nice chip, over Chippy. And gets Bluey as consolation prize as well, but it's back to the midfield line. Chippy's onto the backboard, but there is Tho again to shepherd it down and away. Evades one, looking for Oli upfield, who's chasing Billy down something fierce. Tho, no, I'm not able to do anything there, and a lovely demo by Bluey onto Mike Boy again relieves all the pressure.
Just out of nowhere, Bluey rocks into that rotation that Suh were trying to make. And first of all, they removed the possibility of demolishing the player up front, where the Billy just out-chased his chasers. And then as a result of a demo on the back by Bluey, that's it. The whole attack by Suh just drops down. They're trying to test out the backboard. I don't think anybody from Team Singularity is going to be getting this quickly, so Oli's going to continue the attack for Suh. But he's surrounded. He's all by himself. Really no angle for him to take. No bounces to take from the backboard either. And so Suh will have to try again, and that block by Bluey almost succeeded.
It's all hands to the pump for defense for Singularity. Bluey going for the bicycle kick. A shot to the far post is unsuccessful for Billy. And as much as this defense is solid for Singularity, showing some really good counter-attacking prowess here as Oli hits the post this time. Unlucky not to find an equalizer himself. Suh knocking on the door. No way in yet as Mike Boy looking to continue the attack through the corner. Though, that's off the backboard again, but it ricochets out too far. Oli trying to reset. Nice, fancy mechanics, but it's not going to do you any good, especially when it ricochets past the goal mouth.
And you could see Suh with a lot of control of the game, constant possession. Oli brings the ball back to the green side of the field, as strange as it is to say, and it still just does not work out. Despite all of that control of the ball, Suh just cannot put it down past Team Singularity. They cannot drain him out of the boost, out of the resources. Billy, a bit risky, but this falls to Chippy, and Chippy on the breakaway, and that just wastes even more time. Finally, Singularity out of her own half, and while that does not go any further than the curve of the wall, it's still great for them. It's still great for them. They're finally out, and they can even threaten. And look at how quickly Singularity's shots are that much more threatening than whatever Suh has been able to put out in the last 2 minutes of constant siege.
This is very reminiscent, dare I say it, of Scrub Killer Singularity. We mentioned his name before, but one of the hallmarks of that Scrub Killer Singularity squad was that they could defend for days, frustrate opponents, and hit them mercilessly on the counter-attack. And that is exactly the game plan that Singularity has brought to the table, and it has found success in droves. 3-1. Not exactly the scoreline we were imagining before the game, let alone when Suh went 1-0 up. Another big save coming through from Billy, and, well, I find myself saying this when I wasn't expecting to say it once again. Singularity very deserving, I would argue, of this opening win in the series. They go 1-0 up.
You could see their game plan quite well. You could see Suh's game plan as well. It's just that it did not work. It really did not net them any benefits. Yeah, maybe the shots were there. Maybe the attempts were there. But in the end, Singularity pretty much almost caught up on shots and stricken. It's there somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Every single time...
Struck.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's always one that I forget. Right. It's the one. And that's what Singularity's plan was through brilliant defense, through waiting out for their counterattacking chances, and through a lot of physical play. We're watching those replays, and what we're seeing, demos upon demos upon demos upon demos. And I'm seeing only 4 demos in total on the stat sheet. That can't be right. I felt like either of all 4 of them were instrumental to what Singularity has been doing. That could have been it. So, well, Team Singularity, your plan is working, and Suh better bring something else. The style that they brought in looks great, just not some no results.
I'm feeling very nostalgic today. reference, old NA Evil Geniuses. They were demo heavy. They were demo for the sake of demo. And I think that we've gotten to a stage in the meta now where it doesn't matter so much how many demos you have on the board. It's how you use them. And every single demo, maybe bar one for Singularity, led to a great opportunity, if not a goal. And again, that's great credit to the team for picking and choosing their moments very nicely. That was a great moment to score, sir. That was an excellent moment to score. And thankfully, Oli's going to put it away after it ricochets off woodwork once again. We know that Sir took an early lead in game number 1, Jam. We know that that is not a safe lead for them to get. But after the last game that they've just endured, it's nice to see them scoring once again.
Yeah, they needed to start this one strong. They're trying to forget the previous game, and right now Singularity just have been in a much more open position, and misses on their clears doesn't help Singularity one single bit. Perhaps Chippy can create something. All eyes on Chippy, and it's Billy sitting in the back. All the while,
Bluey.
I'm talking about Billy. It's Bluey who's coming in to score a goal. Beautifully played. It's just everyone comes out, and by the time this play ends, Oli's already just a tad too late. You could see he was going in the right position, but somehow just stumbled somewhere, and bam, there's a goal all the way back from Singularity, battling it hard.
Lovely precision. And a repeat, essentially, of what we had in game number 1. A very snappy equalizer from Singularity, though able to make his way past 2, but with no follow-up, with no Shadow Striker, there's no second goal to be found, and no second goal as of yet scored for Sa. They've only been able to put up 1. Here's the second, surely. No, Bluey with a massive save to deny Mike Boy, and Tho again trying to chip over Chippy. And Chippy says no on this occasion, keeping it locked to the wall, loses possession. Bluey steps in. Tho to Mike Boy. That's genius, and the shot goes wide.
Every single genius has a little bit of moments where it's just not succeeding. Nobody knows what you're doing, and nobody appreciates it. Or just things that the genius would like to forget. That look genius just didn't work out. Nobody was on the same page. Perhaps I will like to try again. They got a lot of chances in the previous game. This is going to go as far as Billy, although Oli had his name almost written on it, but they decided not to engrave it too quickly, and I think that was for a good reason.
We got some fancy mechanics coming out, which is all very nice and well, but I want to see the goals scored at the end of those fancy mechanics. Billy going for the backboard, and again, there's Tho. His backboard defense has been really solid, actually, but out of boost now. It's down to his other 2 teammates to try and defend. Though, again, no boost, I remind you. Or he did pick up a little, actually, so they're able to rescue the situation. Nice pre-jump from Chippy. Again, lovely demo from Billy. This time on defense, where the demos are coming out to play in. Oh no! My. Mistouch from Tho at the center of everything at the moment, and Billy's perseverance pays off.
All right, it almost was a goal for Sa, but a little bit of exchange. Though and Oli, that touch should have been it. That touch should have been a clear. They had all the time in the world. The shot was made for a long distance, and yet they still could not handle it. All the while, whatever Sa is throwing towards Team Singularity, well, there was 1 goal, and that's about it. How about Chippy going at the end of this one? And again, we were watching Chippy always watch the second player coming in. Demos on the goal line. Yep, that's a third one. Easy peasy.
Repeat scoreline of game number 1, and we haven't even hit the halfway mark yet. Sa's defense. Sus. Let's say that much, as Team Singularity, not even on the counter-attack, they're just playing their own game at this point and finding goals galore, and it's not looking good for the Dutch squad. Maybe revenge is on the cards for Team Singularity as they pick their pockets yet again. Massive save from Mike Boy off his own woodwork as Singularity start to really enforce a chokehold here on Sir. The Dutchmen do not know what to do with this team in green.
And maybe there's another chance, but that chance for Sa breaks down as quickly as it starts. Team Singularity still receives packages sent to their half with enough aplomb, and then promptly sends it back as yet another clear goes. Okay, maybe they just want to hit the ball as hard as possible, Relic. There's a chance that everyone just, by this point, would love to just boom it. It's a boom challenge by this point.
Oh!
What did I say? A boom challenge.
Uncle Bill went to the store and he's not bringing home milk, he's bringing home goals. What a cherry pick. No hope of defense. And I apologize if I sound like I'm dying. I'm dying of excitement, personally. I sound worse than I actually am. And speaking of, that was a worse kickoff than it initially looked. Oli brings it back to a 2-goal game with still 2 minutes to play, Jam. There is a comeback potentially on.
We've seen the previous kickoff also go quite widely the way of Suh, and perhaps Team Singularity would like to adjust theirs just a little bit. 2-goal differential should probably still be enough to see them through. So far, Suh have scored 1 goal in the first game, 2 goals in the second game, and firepower, well, is certainly there. We haven't seen as much of it as we would hope to see from what should be a very goal-heavy roster of Mike Boy, Zoe, and Oli. But it's a little bit less than 2 minutes remaining, and Suh are going on yet another attack. But look at how quickly Team Singularity are wise to every single clear that goes their way. They're ready to meet it, and every single time there's a player from Team Singularity, all of the danger, all of the threat of Suh gets nullified.
All these 50s looking so good for Singularity as well. Like that, for example. Oh! Billy, moments away from a beautiful goal to put 5 past Suh. Chippy keeps this locked. Away from the goal, but not exactly to the halfway line. Oli trying to go near post, and there's Billy yet again. Billy with a standout game. Surely the MVP looking forward if we are potentially on the cusp of a 3-0 sweep. Here's Bluey again. Just trying to retain possession, but he's lost it to Tho. But Billy again stepping in, a real menace right now. We always talked about Billy's potential in seasons and even years gone by, and he never really seemed to live up to it. But this looking a lot more like the Billy we were perhaps expecting to see in RLCS 21-22 as Oli puts it to the backboard. And guess who again?
Well, little Billy has all grown up, and he's now an uncle. It's full-on Bill. Maybe even William. We'll see exactly which kind. We'll see exactly which kind of Billy is going to appear later on. But for now, Team Singularity, with almost no time remaining in this game number 2, only needs to keep Suh away for 10 seconds, is looking towards a second game win, a match point, and honestly, a position in which they're still looking like the winners. Suh tried new things, but Team Singularity, on top of everything that we've seen before, also added really short rotations. And when it's clears, Team Singularity has it under control. When it's them losing the ball in the midfield or Suh starting an attack from their own half, Team Singularity just cut in short, kill any momentum of the ball, and force Suh to play slowly. All the while, all the rest of Team Singularity's defense just comes on back, and voila! Yes, Suh scored 1 more goal, but Team Singularity scored 4, and you don't need to be a math genius to figure out who's won this one.
Now you look at the bottom stats there, and I know that it's gone off of the stream, but fascinating reading where in game number 1, all 3 of those stats were in favor of Suh. Very crucial change, I think, in game number 2 here, where in terms of field domination, yes, that was clearly by far and away the stat which Suh is dominating in, but in terms of actual possession, we now see Singularity taking the advantage, edging it out. And you can tell that they are quite happy to keep the ball away from Suh because Suh aren't able to score enough when they do have those opportunities. So if you limit their time even more, how many more goals than 2, realistically, do they have the potential to put away? I don't think that much. That's genius from Mike Boy, but again, a little bit too far away, not enough power to see no early 1-0 lead this time around for Suh. A miss in the midfield, Oli driving forward. I tell you what, Jam, if Singularity scored the opener in game number 3, not looking good if you are a fan of these 3 Dutchmen.
Oh, Bluey, can he do it? Gets a second, well, third touch, I suppose, as well. Tricks absolutely everyone, myself included, but I trusted. I believe the moment he went up in the air, I knew he's going to go for it. And my goodness,
triple tap. Oh, my words. And now we find out whether I'm just talking nonsense or whether there is some truth to the matter. Team Singularity, color me impressed. Maybe you should stick together for a little while longer, who knows? Mike Boy. Oh, and that's another loose ball, and Tho's got to rush back. He's got the boost. Yeah, Bluey bearing down on him as well, but nice defense. We've not been able to say that too much, actually. Another great infield pass, and it's a bit short as they went back for Billy instead of going for net. Singularity have Suh at their mercy as things stand.
Yeah, the whole control of the game has pretty much flipped on its head. All the while, the Team Singularity still with the lead now. And still, oh, did I speak too soon?
Wow.
Yeah, I think I spoke too soon. Singularity, I'm so very